Hello, Father Fred here again, and we just finished chapter 29, and it had lots of intrigue. Now, I'm getting older, and so for my health, I walk 10,000 steps every day in different stores, and they put a new store here in Melissa, Texas. And when I go there, I meet this fellow of mine, this friend that I had known down in Ennis, Texas. And he told me to tell his mother hello in case she happens to be watching this video. Her name is Mary Glenn. And Mary, I meet your son Jerry up here. He's stocking the new store that we got. We just got Kroger's, so I walk in Kroger's now instead of Walmart. And he told me to tell you hello. And as I meet him here as he's stocking the store with Pivo. So if you don't know what Pivo is, you need to find a Czech person and ask him what Pivo is. In what we're doing now is we're going on into chapter 30. Back in chapters 28 and 29, Jacob went to Haran, to Laban's house, to find a wife. Now, in the chapter right before that, he went because he was afraid that his brother was going to kill him because he cheated him out of his birthright and out of his blessing. Cheated Esau, and Esau says he's going to kill him. That was in one source. The other source starts all over, and it's got the same idea. They're going to get Jacob up to Haran, but they're going to get him for a different reason. Instead of going because he's scared, now he's going to go up there and get him a wife. And he has a little problem when he gets there. He meets a fellow named Laban. Now, Laban is his mother's brother. And his mother was Rebecca, and Rebecca was the sister to Laban. So he's going up to keep this in the family. He can't get a wife from any place else. It has to be in this family. So he finds this girl. Oh, she's pretty. He just walks up and kisses her. Now, her name is Rachel, and he decides that he wants to marry her. So he goes to Laban and he says, I want to pay for your daughter. I want to marry her. And so they make an agreement. He's going to work 7 years for her. Now that is way, way, way above what they usually would offer for a wife. But he says, I'll work 7 years for you, and you give me this girl named Rachel. She's beautiful. And so Laban says, okay. Now remember, Laban is a trickster. This whole family is pretty well dysfunctional. If this is the family that is the people of God, you wonder what in the world are the people like that are not the family of God. They're pretty tricky with one another. Laban here is the deceiver in this one. Now you remember, Jacob had been the deceiver with his brother, took his blessing and his birthright, and now Laban is going to turn the tables on him. And it's going to be real strange. Jacob he's going to marry Rachel, and they have a big party. Laban gives a big party, and he says, it's for the wedding that's coming up. Now it works out real strange. These writers, I think they enjoyed what they were writing. They're thinking, wonder what people will be thinking when they read this 3,000 years later. But anyway, Laban says, okay, you can work for me 7 years and you can have my daughter, Rachel. So he works 7 years. So now he's going to get to marry her. Well, they have I don't know what kind of a wedding service they would have, and he would know who it is that he's going to be marrying. But Laban, at night, takes his daughter over to give to Jacob, but he doesn't take Rachel. He doesn't take Rachel. He takes her sister Leah, and it's as if he doesn't know. I don't know if she had on a veil. I don't know if it's because it's dark. I don't know if he drank too much at the party, but for some reason, he marries Leah instead of Rachel. And then he wakes up the next morning and he is upset. He's upset. And he goes to Laban, why did you do this to me? How could you do it? And he said, he had to be thinking, I was pretty deceitful myself. Maybe he was thinking that. But anyway, Leah is when he marries. And then he talks to Laban, I want to marry Rachel. And said, okay, work 7 more years. So it's 14 years that he works to get Rachel. Now, just like with his mom and dad, or like Abraham and Sarah, Sarah was 90 years old and had never had a child. So now she had to figure out something to have a child. So she set Abraham up with Hagar, and they had a child. That's always bad when you don't wait for God to act in your life. You decide to go ahead and do it your own way. So in this one, Rachel cannot have any children, just like Sarah could not have any children. So now he's going to have some children with Leah. So he gets together with Leah, and once time and 2 times and 3 times, and he has 4 sons. He has one named Reuben, one named Simeon, one named Levi, and one named Judah. And Rachel cannot not have any children. So let's go now to chapter 30 and see what is going on. Okay, here we go. Open your Bibles to chapter 30, verse 1 in Genesis, and we read, When Rachel saw that she had not borne children to Jacob, she became envious of her sister, and she said to Jacob, Give me children or I shall die. Now these women, they could get pretty dramatic sometimes. These writers like to make them dramatic, I think. Verse 2, Jacob became angry with Rachel, and this is what he says. Can I take the place of God? I'm not the one that's keeping you from having children. Now, when you see the word God, it's going to be a writer from the north. Can I take the place of God who has deceived you, the fruit of the womb? It's not me. Don't get after me. Verse 3, she replied, Here is my maidservant. Now, this is a strange way to have children, but she says, Here is my maidservant, Bilhah. Have intercourse with her, and let her give birth on my knees. Now, at that time, for the father to show that he was the father and be proud of that baby child, when it was born, he would put that child on his knees. Now, she's going to do it a little different. She's going to put the child on her knees as if it's her child. So we read that again. Here is my maidservant Bilhah. Have intercourse with her, and let her give birth on my knees, so that I too may have children through her. It's going to be like, these are my children now, because I've done this through my maidservant, and I've done it according to our practice. Verse 4, So she gave him her maidservant Bilhah as wife, and Jacob had intercourse with her. When Bilhah conceived and bore a son for Jacob, Rachel said, and here this tells you from the north, God has vindicated me. Indeed, he has heeded my plea and given me a son. Therefore she named him Dan. Now we go through a whole rigmarole about this is all of this. God's done this, so I'll name him Dan. One word means all of that other. Remember Dan. Now we got five children, 5 sons. Rachel's maidservant Bilhah conceived again and bore a second son for Jacob. And Rachel said, I have wrestled strenuously with my sister, and I have prevailed. So she named him Naphtali. That's the 6th son. We're going to get 12. Now, what does it mean? I have wrestled strenuously with my sister. It must have been an emotional struggle. I don't think they had physical problems fighting. Verse 9 says, When Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, now Leah not had any more. She's got 4 already. That's the sister that's not pretty. When Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, she took her maidservant Zilpah, the other one. Now remember, each one had a maidservant that Laban had given them, their father had given them, and gave her to Jacob as wife. Now he's going to be with the other maidservant. So Leah's maidservant, Zilpah, bore a son for Jacob. Leah then said, "What good luck!" So she named him Gad. Gad means, hey, we've got good luck. Verse 12, then Leah's maidservant bore a second son to Jacob. And Leah said, and look what it takes to get his name. What good fortune, because women will call me fortunate. So they named him Asher. Asher means, what good fortune, because women will call me fortunate. Verse 14. Now we're going to change completely here. One day during the wheat harvest, Reuben went out. Now remember, Reuben is one of the sons of Leah. Reuben went out and came upon some mandrakes. Now mandrakes are erotic roots like carrots or radishes, but they're supposed to be something that is it's fertility, makes a woman able to have children. So one day during the wheat harvest, Reuben went out and came upon some mandrakes in the field which he had brought home to his mother, Leah. And Rachel said to him, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. Now, we don't read this here maybe, but in the background of this, these mandrakes are going to make Rachel fertile if she gets them, and she does. Verse 15. Leah replied, was it not enough for you to take away my husband, that you must now take my son's mandrakes too? Leah says, you took my husband away from me because she was married to him first, not the one he wanted. Rachel answered, in that case, Jacob may lie with you tonight in exchange for your son's mandrakes. So give me those mandrakes and you can sleep with my husband, but it's actually her husband too. Verse 16, that evening, when Jacob came in from the field, Leah went out to meet him, and she said, you must have intercourse with me, because I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. So that night he lay with her. And she says, I have hired you. She's like she's paying for it. Verse 17, and God, that's E, and God listened to God listened to Leah, and she conceived and bore a son to Jacob. Leah then said, and here's why they're going to name him a certain thing. God has given me my wages for giving my maidservant to my husband, so she named him Issachar. So the maidservant has a child, Issachar. Verse 19, Leah conceived again and bore a sixth son to Jacob. That makes 10 now. And Leah said, God has brought me a precious gift. This time my husband will honor me because I have borne him 6 sons. So she named him Zebulun. Verse 21, afterwards she gave birth to a daughter and she named her Dinah. Doesn't say anything about why she named him Dinah. There's a girl in here. That's the first girl. Nothing extra about it. This is God has given me luck or any of that. She just names her Dinah, because you don't want to put too much emphasis on the females. But Dinah, if you see a girl in there, it's going to be somebody, she's going to play an important part in the future. Verse 22, then God remembered Rachel. God listened to her and made her fruitful. She conceived and bore a son, and she said, God has removed my disgrace. So she named him Joseph. Joseph, this is the first child now that Rachel has had. This is number 11. Saying, and right in the middle of this verse, we change from God to Lord. We change from the northern kingdom to the southern kingdom, and it's going to be Lord now. It's been God all along. Now look at this. May the Lord add another son for me. And the Lord does add another son. Now we're going to find the wits between Jacob and Laban. Both of them are deceitful. Verse 25. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, allow me to go to my own region and my own land. I want to go home now. I've been here I'm homesick. I want to get back to Texas or Oklahoma or wherever you're from. 26. Give me my wives and my children. What do you mean give them to me? They're already his. He's already worked for them. And my children, for whom I served you, and let me go, for you know the service that I have rendered for you. I've worked for you, boy, just a whole lot more than what I should have. Laban answered him, if you will please, I have learned through divination that the Lord, that's the southern kingdom, that the Lord has blessed me because of you. So he might be thinking a bit like whenever Abraham tricked these guys, Abraham really came out on the good end because they were afraid of Abraham that he might put a curse on them. And so this is the same thing here. I have learned through divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. So I'm going to do something special for you. But he's not going to do something special. Verse 28, he continued, state the wages I owe you, and I will pay them. I'll pay you. And here's verse 29. Jacob replied, you know what work I did for you, and how well your livestock fared under my care. Jacob is setting him up. You know how good I've been to you. Verse 30. The little you had before I came has grown into an abundance, since the Lord, still in the south, since the Lord has blessed you in my company. Now, when can I do something for my own household as well? I want out of here. I want to get back with my own family. And Laban asked, what should I give you? Jacob answered, you do not have to give me anything. That is a big deception. He is going to get something, but he says, you don't have to give me anything. If you do this one thing for me, I will again pasture and tend your sheep. He's planning it right now. Verse 32, let me go through your whole flock today and remove from it every dark animal among the lambs and every spotted or speckled one among the goats, and these will be my wages. First he said you don't have to give them anything, but now let me have these animals. If they're dark, if they're spotted, or if they're speckled, they're supposed to be weaker than the others. And hence he's setting Laban up. Verse 33, in the future, whenever you check on my wages, my honesty will testify for me. Boy, that is putting it to him. My honesty. He's pretty dishonest. Any animal that is not speckled or spotted, that means any of the weak ones, among the goats or dark among the lambs, those are the weak ones, got into my possession by theft. Laban said, very well, let it be as you say. What he wants to get those weak sheep. That's what he's telling him. Verse 35. That same day, Laban removed the streaked and spotted he-goats, and all the speckled and spotted she-goats, all those with some white on them, as well as every dark lamb, and he put them in the care of his sons. He says he's going to give them to him, but he puts them in the care of his sons. And his sons don't know about this deal, so they're not going to give them to him. But Jacob has something planned better than that anyway. Then he put a 3 days journey between himself and Jacob. He got out of there. He gave the animals that are supposed to go to Jacob, he gives them to his sons, and then he gets away, for 3 days away, travel, while Jacob was pasturing the rest of Laban's flock. Verse 37, Jacob, however, got some fresh shoots. Now this is kind of like witchcraft or something that's their tradition maybe. It's cultural. It won't make any sense to us, but this is what he does. Jacob, however, got some fresh shoots of poplar, that's a poplar tree, almond and plane trees, and he peeled white stripes on them by laying bare the white core of the shoots. He's peeled off the bark so that the white shows, and according to this writer, he's having fun, I think. He's going to tell us what that's going to do to these sheep. Verse 38, the shoots that he had peeled, shoots means little parts, little limbs. The shoots that he had peeled, he then set apart, then he set upright in the watering troughs where the animals came to drink. He's putting these trees that he's prepared up there where the animals come to drink, so that they would be in front of them. When the animals were in heat, when they want to have little ones, when the animals were in heat, as they came to drink, the goats mated by the shoots. And so they gave birth to streaked, speckled, and spotted young. When these animals come to get a drink, he puts these trees shoots there. And when he puts those there, it's supposed to affect these animals so that they will be speckled or spotted, and he's going to get these, and they're going to be the strong ones. He's fooling his father-in-law. The sheep, on the other hand, Jacob kept apart, and he made these animals face the streaked or completely dark animals of Laban. Thus he produced flocks of his own, which he did not put with Laban's flocks. He's mating the strong ones so that he'll get the best sheep. Whenever the hardier animals came in heat, Jacob would set the shoots in the troughs in full view of these animals so that they mated by the shoots. But with the weaker animals, he would not put the shoots there. So the feeble animals would go to Laban, but the hardy ones, the strong ones, go to Jacob. The deceit, it goes on and on. The last verse is, so the man grew exceedingly prosperous, that's Jacob, and he owned large flocks, male and female servants, camels, and donkeys. He needs to go to confession somewhere. But this is struggles between who can trick the other one the most. So Laban said, you can have these little speckled ones and spotted ones, they're weak, you can have them. And then he gives them to his sons, and then he goes off 3 days travel. So Jacob can't get him. But he doesn't know it. But he can't get Jacob either. And Jacob is going to wind up getting the strong ones, because when the strong ones come up in heat, he puts these plants up there that somehow magically makes them the hardiest ones, the strongest ones. The authors in these stories do not make their heroes perfect people. And that's probably the same for us. I think we're God's people, and we're not perfect either. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And we're going to, they have 12 children, and these 12 children are going to be, well, they got 13 children, counting the daughter, Dinah. They have 12 sons. And from these 12 sons, we're going to come out to get the chiefs of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's coming. God bless you. Have a good day. Go Notre Dame.